Hey y'all, this is Jess with Bless Your Heart. Let's do a wavy vinyl wrap tumbler today. Let's use these two pieces of vinyl that I have had in my stash for a while. They're the Glitter Guy Colorful Sketch Hearts and Banff Custom Creations I Heart You. Let's figure out what we're going to do. I'm going to sand my cup with my little hand sander here, and I'm just going to try to get that sheen off. And I'm going to clean it up real good with some rubbing alcohol and get ready for the next step. So a while back, I made a 90s inspired tumbler and I got these little squiggles from Creative Fabrica. So what I did was I went into Creative Studio, put two of them together and welded them and just cut them out of this piece of vinyl. And that is what I'm going to use to make my little wavy lines. Now once I get that all weeded, I'm going to go in and I cut out the exact same stripes or wavy lines out of this other vinyl. And I want to attempt to put it all on my cup in one fell swoop. So I'm replacing those original lines with these inserts. And let's hide and watch and see how that turns out. Now for the transfer tape. I'm going to use this big roll I got, I believe off Amazon, and I'm just going to use the grids on this to try to get everything nice and straight as possible. I'm going to try to put it on as straight as possible on my transfer tape, and I'm going to try to use those grids to get it as straight as possible on my cup. To apply the vinyl to my cup, I'm going to put it back in this little cup cradle thing, and I'm going to use the hinge method. And again, we're going to use those grids to try to get it straight, and we're going to see how that turns out for us. Now this is not made to be a seamless pattern, so it will not meet up or anything like that. This is just something I threw together when I saw these two vinyls in my stash and decided I would want to try it. But I'm going to shimmy all of this on with my big squeegee to try my best to not create any air pockets or bubbles or anything like that. The hardest part of all of taking this transfer tape off was those extra little pieces I put back in. Now I'm going to go in and use my edge trimmer from Kelbell Customs, and I'm just going to try to get this top edge and this bottom edge as straight and as crispy as possible, because that's just a lot of vinyl going on and a lot of movement, and we didn't do anything underneath all this vinyl, so we want to make sure that we can create the best seal possible. Now that our top and bottom have a nice, straight, crispy line, we're going to go in and we're going to work on that seam. So I'm going to try a little something different with my seam this time. I'm going to go down the middle of both of those overlap and underlapped, and I'm going to remove the top of one side and then the underneath of the other side, and I'm going to see how that's going to work for me. I've seen a couple of other creators do this, and their seams, you don't have that weird bump on your seam, and I'm just going to kind of see how it works for me. This may be something I do from now on, and it may not be something I do from now on, but we never know unless we try. Once you remove all of those outside and inside pieces, smooth your seam back down, and it actually turns out pretty good. So here's where we go. We tried to be extra a second ago and it didn't work out for us, and sometimes it doesn't. So I'm going to go in and remove all of those insert wavy lines that I put in at the beginning. You want to be careful. This is removable vinyl, but you don't want to stretch it and you don't want to tear it, because we do want it to go back into those spaces. We're just going to add some glitter, and we can't really do that with this vinyl still on there. I wasn't thinking all the way through to the completion of this design when I put those on, but hey, you live and you learn. Once we get all three of those pieces of vinyl removed, we're going to go in and we're going to use the original squiggly lines that we cut from the original vinyl. We're just going to put it back in place, and we're basically going to use this as our stencil, because those two skinnier squiggle pieces, we are going to take those off and we are going to add some glitter. For adhesive for our glitters today, we're just going to use a glitter glue. The glitters we're going to use are from Christy Reed Glitters, and they're Olive You, which is a real pretty green, and Orange Fanta, which is just a nice, pretty, bright orange. So we're going to start with one color and move on to the next color. Like I said, we're just going to paint this glitter glue on, sprinkle our glitter, and check out our handiwork. Just like with any other adhesive, you want to make sure that you get all of those lines as best you can out, because they will kind of show like a little bump underneath your glitter. So you want to get all of that adhesive as smooth as possible before you put your glitter on. After you get finished glittering, you want to remove your stencil right then so you don't glue anything that you don't want glued down. We're going to use the same process for that orange glitter. We're going to get our glue as smooth as possible, sprinkle our glitter on, remove our stencil, and check out our handiwork. After a couple layers of your favorite sealant, you want to go in and we're going to replace those wavy lines that we have already put down and removed. So we do need to be gentle with them because we've handled them a lot. There's a chance that it will bubble up underneath epoxy if we are not careful to seal this. So you want to just make sure that you get it as balanced as possible. We can go in and cut if we need to. Hopefully we haven't stretched out our vinyl enough that we have to do that, but you know, it happens. So we're going to place all three of these wavy lines back on, and then we're going to get ready to move on to the next step. Okay, so for the vinyl striping, I'm going to go in and I'm going to use this textured black from Cricut. And I just created an offset of my original cut lines. Some places it's going to work beautifully, some places it's not going to work beautifully. We're just going to have to make it work the best we can. And I'm going to go on the complete outside of the entire wavy line, put both of those pieces on, and then I'm going to put a layer of epoxy. Okay, so I have these two little lift pieces right here I want to show you. That is where I had to stretch the vinyl a little bit and it just popped back up during the epoxy. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make sure that I get those little insides of the wavy lines even, because I can make these straightaways do what I want them to do. You can see right here I'm going to have to fold a little bit to get it to do what I want it to do, like I said. Now I'm going to take my X-Acto knife and I'm going to cut on that little straight edge and overlap my vinyl, and it's textured so you shouldn't be able to see any of that underneath stuff. And then I'm going to epoxy until smooth. And here we go. I think it looks pretty good for not really having a direction when we started. Thank y'all so much for hanging out with me today. I hope to see you again soon. Bye.